Many times as we greet the new year, we look back at the one just passed and review its ups and its downs. Jim Lineweaver is here today to do just that, though he's going to take stock of last year's market and what it could mean for 2017. Jim is a certified financial planner professional with the Lineweaver Financial Group. So welcome back to the show.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thanks.
There are so many economic areas that you have to worry about. For example, interest rates.
Yep. Well, about a month ago, they went up. So for only the second time since 2006, we had a rate increase. So they've increased the federal funds rate a quarter of 1% or 0.25 basis points. And so most people aren't going to really feel that too much. But if you have any variable interest rates, so it could be a car payment that could be variable, it could be your equity line of credit, it might be some student loans, things along that nature. Those are going to go up a little bit, so you'll have a little less in your pocket to spend. But for the most part, the Fed has been very cautious in raising rates because the economy really hasn't gotten going, the way they'd like it to be.
Okay. So, and what about what's been happening out in the world? How does that affect things?
That's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
So it started back in 2015 when China didn't do well at all, and you saw a global sell-off. And what that did is that carried into January of 2016, where we had the worst January on record in the history of the stock market.
Oh boy.
And that was only a year ago. And then what ended up happening is you had the European Union exiting the European. And what ended up happening is then you saw on June 24th, you saw the largest single point drop in the history of the stock market. There was over $2 trillion taken out of the stock market on that day. And actually, following that, we saw it go down to $3 trillion. So it was big volatility. And then what happened was it was short-lived. It was sprung back. They said, oh, what's going on in the EU really is a longer-term play and shouldn't be that much of an impact. So the markets recovered, and then you got up to the election, and we saw a lot more volatility.
Crazy elections. So, and that made things go a little bit up and down again.
It did. That was more than being a reality show. It actually affected the stock market quite a bit. Wow. And what ended up happening is that night, if you're watching the elections, the Dow futures were down as low as 800 points, and then when the market opened up the next day, and by the time it closed, it was up almost 300. So you had an 1,100 point swing within 24 hours.
Wow.
And then since then, through the end of the year, you had a good run up in both the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 in equity-based markets, thinking that, there could be some hope that if Trump can get even a percentage of what he wants to get accomplished, that it might mean some good things for the economy.
Does Congress have any impact?
Well, not yet, but the thought that now the Republicans control the House and the Senate and obviously the presidency, that they might be able to get more things passed and not so much gridlock. So that's the thinking that there might be a little bit more of infrastructure plays, things along that nature that could do well.
Okay. So what do you think is going to happen going forward now?
Well, more volatility. So what ends up happening is that you should hopefully, if we can get some of the deregulation, if we can get some of the foreign money repatriated back to the United States and companies can, put that back into research spending and expanding their businesses and things along that nature. We do expect a couple more interest rates next year if the economy does get back on its feet. So be careful if you're having bonds or fixed income because they're going to be very interest rate sensitive. So you got to be very careful. So you can't just go into it with blinders on, but pay attention to the economic data and you should be able to adjust your portfolio accordingly.
And you've got some information coming up that will help people.
We do. We're going to get a lot more detailed. So if they'd like, there's a free education program on Tuesday, January 10th at 1 p.m. in our Valley View office, and also Thursday, January 12th at 6 p.m.
All right. Go there for more information. To have a happy financial new year, you need to understand the past and the present as you look into the future. For help, attend one of Jim's seminars or give him a call. The number is coming up next.
For more information, call the Lineweaver Financial Group at 1-888-313-4009 or click to www.lineweaver.net. Next.